Hello and welcome back to Jeff's Giant Growing Journal. It's been a little while since I made a video and got a couple messages asking where they were at. The primary reason why I haven't done any is there's really not a whole lot going on. I know we're getting to the end of June and you guys have not seen me pollinate anything. Today was the first pollination that I've done. It will be a backup, but I'll get to that here in a second and show you what's going on and why it's going to probably be a backup. Alright, so here is the plant that I did the pollination on. This is the 1989.5 Conway, and not a bad looking plant right now. We're getting there, we're getting it filled in. Let me step out here, I'll show you the pollination. So right there she is, and the reason it's going to probably be a backup is if you look, come back through here to these secondaries. You can see the size of that secondary compared to this secondary. This secondary is kind of petering out. I will likely cut it off right there, and this one will get trained to come back through here. And if you look, move these leaves out of the way. My goodness, I can't get down there. There we go. I did it to that one as well. So it's got two secondaries that just kind of weren't very strong secondaries. That pollination out there has 16 secondaries behind it. By the time you take out those two, and the way I was going to do it, the one right at the fruit, I would take that secondary off as well. That puts me at 13 secondaries. Frankly, it's just not enough. Let me come back out here and show you something else. So if I was at 13, by taking this one here off, put it back on there, there's 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And again, probably end up taking that secondary off, so we're 17 secondaries with that fruit, which will open up here in probably another 5 or 6 days is my guess. But that one there will be the planned keeper. And as long as that one looks halfway decent, I will keep that one. And then as you can see here, there's another one there in the tip that I will probably pollinate that one as well. Just kind of depends on what this one here is doing, how well it's doing, and what it looks like. But you can see I've got a camera there. I do have a time lapse of that. I'll show you that here. So as you could see in that video, in that time lapse, there is, I let it open up. It's not fully open, but it's pretty close. And because of that, I was told that technically that should be considered an open pollination. That was at 6:30 in the morning. Personally, I've never seen a bee flying around here at 6:30 in the morning. This morning it was 56 degrees at 6:30. I have a thermometer, a temperature sensor that tells me the temperature, and so at 6:30 it was 56 degrees. Bees typically will just barely start to fly at 55 degrees. So you know, the odds that there was any pollinators flying around at that time were pretty much slim to none. And I can go back and actually watch that video to see if anything went in it. I don't think there was, simply because I've never seen one, and I didn't see anything this morning either. So I'm going to call that a good pollination. I pollinated that with the 1813 Pew. And again, it's likely going to get cut off. It just depends on what these next two look like and the date as well. So let's move on to the next one here. All right, and here is the 150 plant. Not doing too bad. You can see there's a few weeds in there, but nothing too major. I just weeded it not too long ago, and I can show you a before picture and an after picture. And as you can see, there's quite a big difference between those two. And I do have a squash on there. I don't believe I picked it off yet, but I may have. I don't see it right off. Let me see. All right, there it is. Let me zoom in there. You see it there. It is actually attached to the secondary. Let me step over there and I'll get you a better look of it. There you go. You can see how it's attached to it, fused to it. Unfortunately, that trait moved on. This is from my 563.5 last year, and which is an 1109 self. And so unfortunately, that's a trait that did move on with it. I'm hoping that the next one out is not like that. There is one in the tip. So I figure here probably about another 10 days or so, 10 to 14 days, we'll be pollinating this as well. Hopefully somewhere in that area there. That's the goal, to hit that area for the fruit. And it won't be long after that, we'll have it completely filled in. So, but that one there will come off. I just kind of wanted to wait till it got a little bit bigger. I want to see the lobes on it and just see what they're looking like. But let's move on to the 1813 inside the greenhouse. All right, here we are inside the greenhouse of the 1813 Pew. Back here towards the stump side right now. I had to turn my radio off. But you can see here, I've got some secondaries that are about ready to go outside. Those will get cut off here probably next time I bury vines, which will likely be tomorrow, maybe the next day. I did cut one off over there already, and I didn't mention it, didn't show it, but I actually cut, I believe, 3 of them off on the 1989 Conway already. Vine bearing, pretty well caught up. You can see in there where I'm burying. You notice I got 2 chairs out here, and so this one here was over top of this female. That female opened up the other day, and I did not have any males to pollinate it with. I did take a couple immature males and pollinated, I guess you could say, but as I told a couple people, I felt like I was shooting with blanks. And as you can see by that, that's exactly what happened. Nothing happened. It did not get pollinated, which that's what I expected. I would have liked to have pollinated that one as a backup, but it's not pollinated. I'll cut that one off here maybe later on today or tomorrow. But I do have this one right here. And again, that one there is the projected keeper. I do have another one there in the tip. That's probably about 7 days from opening. This one, let me go back to this one. This one was 16 secondaries behind it. So there we got 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 secondaries to this. So more than likely, I will end up with this getting cut off. So looking at 20 secondaries behind that fruit, behind my potential keeper. Good shape on it. Not super long, but still a good shape. I do like that little bit longer one. I don't have those too often. Most of mine seem to be round, but that's okay. We'll take them and grow them however we get them. Something that you will notice, I don't know if you noticed it on the 1989, but I have a wobbler in here. And the reason I have that wobbler is I have this weed barrier. And because of the weed barrier, I am using mushroom compost to bury my vines. And you can actually see a root there. But what I was noticing was the mushroom compost was drying out. It was very, very dry. Top roots were not developing. So what I started to do was I took my 5-gallon bucket of mushroom compost and I put water in it. Got it basically to a mud. And that's what I would bury the vines with. And then I've got the wobbler that runs, I believe I got them running 3 times a day for like 15 minutes a piece. And I have that doing that to help try to keep that wet so that that top root can develop. And it has seemed to help. The top roots seem to be coming on a little bit quicker now, a little bit better. Just looking through there, I can definitely see a lot more than I had in the past. Is it really doing anything? Honestly, I don't know for sure. It could have just been there, just taking a little longer to develop. If nothing else, it at least makes me feel better. So, that's it. I think that's everything right now. Like I said, probably here within the next week or so, I'll have pollinations, keeper pollinations on pretty well all 3 of my plants. So we'll get some more videos and maybe some more reels out on Facebook with it. Just to satisfy those people, I'll do everything in my power to have a safe and clean pollination. So you're not going to get any videos of a flower opening up because apparently if it opens up, then a bee can get in it, which I do agree with to a point. But at 6:30 in the morning, bees aren't flying, and I've never seen one flying. I don't expect I'll see one fly at all this year either. But that's it for this week. If you have any questions, comments, please feel free to comment. Let me know. Let me know what's going on. I do have my shade cloth pulled over today. Earlier today, I've got my temperature sensor there. I got an alarm. It was 95 plus degrees in here at 11 o'clock this morning. Probably didn't help that the sides were down and my 8-foot door on the front side of the greenhouse was closed. And the sun was shining. There was blue skies up above. So once I opened everything up, it drops the temperature. Then I put the shade cloth on as well. Really helped out. That plant perked up because it did have some wilting going on. But it definitely looks a lot better than it did this morning. And we'll just keep plugging away with everything and try to keep them healthy and keep them happy. Right now I'm really happy, especially with this plant. This plant's a good sized plant. I'm excited to see what it produces. I'm excited to really see what all 3 of them produce. I've said it before with my 150, I am going for that world record 150 squash, which currently is 1109. And my goal is 1109 and a half. As we all know from last year, that half a pound is all that it takes. So we'll see what happens come the end of the year. But until then, I hope everybody grows big. In the meantime, God bless and grow big.